Not yet. Now we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk.
Yay. We are so excited, you guys. We have a really great show. We have a really great guest. We're super excited about how awesome today is going to be. It's going to be fantastic.
Amazing. There has been so much buzz about our guest this week. We don't want to bug you about it, but
hey,
James, he is
lots of buzz
about him.
Lots of buzz.
Lots of buzz about this week's guest.
Oh, that is so rad. Oh my gosh.
We already got a couple viewers signing on. We're going to get a big audience tonight.
Yay. That's going to make it so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Heck yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm checking our feed. It says we're going live soon. We should be live.
Let me see. I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Where are you, live video?
I got notifications. Let's see.
There's our live video. Hoorah.
Let's see. Make sure you guys share.
And El Crack.
Let's see here.
I'm going to hit it here.
Yes, I'm going to go here. I'm so excited, you guys. So, hey, tell us who's watching today so we can chime it in.
Yeah, let's figure out who's watching tonight. Let's see, we got a couple people so far. I'm doing my share right now.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I have to mute myself really quick.
You have to mute yourself. All right, everybody. Well, Savea's muted and away from the camera. At 10:12 p.m., type in buzz buzz. Just in the chat, just type in buzz buzz. Hey, Savea, buzz buzz.
Buzz buzz.
Wait,
so
I thought you were muted and away from the camera.
No.
Okay.
I'm here. Why are you trying to do
how wonderful your Korean barbecue sauce was.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
It was
went to barbecue for dinner. It was so good.
I got it.
Let's see.
I'm typing in, sharing my thing. Interview Dan, B-Man Dan. Let me make sure I didn't misspell anything. All right, I'm typing in. We are live for tonight's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. On tonight's show, we interview B-Man Dan. Except I left out the end. That's why I proofread. I don't know. Should I hit a period or exclamation point after B-Man Dan?
You can.
I will.
And I'm actually going to share this to I'm going to share this to Escondido friends today.
Okay.
Yeah, because we actually have a business that's in Escondido that's going to be doing our interview today.
Really?
Yes, his business is in Escondido, so I'm going to share this feed to Escondido friends.
Gotcha. Well, we got one per viewer right now. Hello, Wendy Hodge. Hi, Late Night Craft Talk people. We're just waiting for the president of the Friday Ninja Monster Hunter Squad. But we got Wendy, our head of security.
Yes. And our historian.
And our historian.
Yes.
And my personal guide in the Marine Corps.
Yes.
I'm getting notices. Savea's live right now. Cool. Are you live?
I am.
Take your pulse. What's your heartbeat?
I'll tell you.
You don't know your heartbeat.
I'll tell you in a second here.
A second? Oh, I'm going to tell some bee jokes.
Oh, no, that's the compass. Hold on. Oh, here we go.
That's not a compass. It's bee joke.
My heart rate is 86 beats per minute.
That's a good heart rate. That is good. Hey, Savea.
Yes.
What did the Honeybee Queen's dessert wobble? Wait, why did the Honeybee Queen's dessert wobble when she tried to eat it?
What?
Why did the queen honeybee, the queen of the colony, the honeybee colony, Why did her dessert wobble when she tried to eat it?
I don't know.
Because it was royal jelly.
Oh, ha, 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 ha.
Well, you know what? All right, fine. What do bees use to style their hair?
Beeswax.
No, honeycombs.
Oh.
I watched the Nature Special on National
Oh,
Geographic. Where do
okay.
bees catch a bus?
At the buzz station.
Well, it says buzz stop, but close enough. I'll give it to you. Where do bees go on holiday?
I don't know.
Singapore and Beijing.
You know what? They can also go bee comb.
Hey, look at the screen. Look at the screen. There's bees.
They can also go beach combing.
They could, but no. Look at there's bees around our cold screen.
Yeah, how did you do that?
I don't know, but they're buzzing around the camera. Look at that. We need a bee removal expert.
Yes, hopefully he comes on soon. Oh wait, I see him. Okay, he's there. He's there.
Don't give away the dingies.
We see Dan. Dan, we see you're there. We're just
Hi, Dan.
doing our intro.
Just get the camera hidden because we got a whole bunch of stuff to do.
Yeah, Dan's in the green room right now, so he's
Hoorah.
hanging out with all the bees. They're just giving him like some attention, in a good way.
Absolutely. Dan, I'm glad you're here. We have a bunch of bees around our hold screen. We need help. Matter of fact, hey, why did the bee go to jail?
Why did the bee go to jail? I don't know.
It was caught nectar robbing.
Oh, funny.
Hey, what should you say to a nosy, interfering bee?
Keep your mind out of my business.
No. Well, maybe. Mind your own business.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan's probably going to want to leave going, what the hell am I doing here? 2.5 minutes till live.
Like, yeah.
Buzz.
It's funny because I can see his little video down below.
Yeah, well, he's probably rolling his eyes going, God, I've heard all these jokes so many times. The bees are still buzzing around. Look at that. There's a whole swarm of them.
There's just a lot of bees here right now.
I know. They know the buzz of the show.
Yes. They heard the buzz from really far away.
Oh, talk about that. You know what? Actually, since we're on like a TV show kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is the bees' favorite TV channel?
Wouldn't it be BuzzFeed?
No, the BBC.
Okay. Well, maybe I guess
British BBC.
That's their favorite website.
What's their favorite website?
BuzzFeed. Because BuzzFeed's a website.
I don't get it.
You don't get it? Okay. All right. It's all good.
Explain it, please. We got more stuff up here. I see. Miles on. Hello, Late Night Craft Talk family. How are ya?
Yeah. Wendy's like, you better find the queen.
Better find the queen. Oh, I watched Star Trek Picard season 2, episode 2.
Yeah.
And then it was the Borg Queen's there. And then I watched a preview for episode 3 next week for Star Trek Picard. And the queen, oh boy, the Borg Queen. Holy cow.
You know what is funny? Excuse me. My mom, you're going to have words with my mom. She said she didn't really like Picard. Because they said to her, I said, why don't we watch some of the episodes of Picard? She's like, I didn't really like it. I'm like, okay.
Your mom is now sentenced to the agony booth.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's a minute till our start of our show.
Yeah, I got 52 seconds.
Yeah, well now it is.
Yeah, but you said it wasn't. All right, I got one more. What do you get if you cross a monkey? What do you get if you cross a monkey house with a group of honeybee colonies and hives?
I don't know.
An apiary. What do bees use to build roads? Nectar. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, well, some people don't know that the name of a hive that's being kept is called an apiary. So
it's like a penguin joke. The aviary of doom. All right, countdown time.
Oh, okay. 10, 9, 8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
1, 0. Showtime.
Yay!
It's time for Late Night Craft Talk with hosts Sabea Kamori Yang and James Hermes. On this week's show, Bee Man Dan. He'll be talking about the rescue, relocation, and rehabilitation of bees. Which tune do bees like to dance to? Hive talking by the Bee Gees. It's time to start the show. I'm jive talking, hive talking.
Yay! Hey guys! Oh my goodness! Crazy times! Crazy times!
It's gonna be a good night.
Yes. And so, hello everyone. For those of you who haven't watched our show before, our show, we do it every week on Friday night, and 99.9% of the time it's live. And so you get to hear James and I talk about all kinds of interesting topics, getting guests, talking about all kinds of fun stuff. And this week we're really excited about. But if you didn't get a chance to yet, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channels and our Facebook channels and our Twitch and our Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Hey, James.
And
so what's been going on with Elk?
Are you Twitch face?
No. So, hey, James, what's going on with Elk Rack this week?
All right. We're getting some of our show schedule put together now that powwows are starting to come back. We'll announce the day, but we're hoping to be able to return with Pachanga Powwow. Yes, folks. Pachanga Powwow is back. After like 6 or 7 or 8 years, it's back. They're looking at moving it in the fall. It will not be 4th of July weekend. We're hoping for it. That is a personal favorite of both Sabea and I's. We love that Pachanga Powwow.
Not in 4th of July weekend, but yes, Pachanga
It won't be 4th of July weekend. It's moving to probably September, October. We'll have the dates announced as soon as we know.
Yes,
but that's what we're doing. Otherwise, shows are starting to come together. We know our show schedule. Folks, you will be able to see us at Lakeside Rodeo, 3rd weekend of April, 4th weekend of April. And we will be at Koopa Cultural Days, 1st full weekend of May. And Palm Springs at the Palm Springs Village Fest every Thursday. I was there last night. That was fun. It was a fun crowd. So always good. So that's what's latest. What's going on with us. What is going on with the free puppy special at Dancing Bear?
So there is no free puppy special, but I guess you misread that one. But
well, let me look at the script.
My bad. I know, James, that must have been something you just added in. I don't know. I didn't see it on the script.
Never happens. Never go off script.
But, we have been working really hard. We do have a staff shortage right now. So we are requesting that everyone puts in a reservation for shopping at our store. If you need a reservation and there is no reservation, you can always call us or show up and we will fit you in the best we can. But we're doing that just because we have a staff shortage and we're trying to make it a little easier to run the store. So hopefully that will be over soon. I don't know when it will be over. I'm thinking probably at the end of March. So that's cool. We are working on the graduation stoles. We're expecting our first batch to be done soon. We have had them at the seamstress for a while, and there's a lot that she needs to do. So it's been a little bit of a process. It's a little slow, but we're going to be getting them done soon. And that's everything for Dancing Bear this week.
That's cool. All right. So we have our own show. It's 10:04. We're running a little ahead of time right now. It's luckily I never go off script. Folks, it's fun when we do that because seriously, sometimes I'll go a little off script and Savea's going, what are you doing or where are you going with this?
It's like, James, what are you doing?
And I'll be in the middle of
You're killing me, Smalls.
What?
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'm killing you small, like a little at a time.
Okay, do you remember watching a show called The Sandlot?
I know of it.
There's a moment where the kid says to his friend, he says, "You're killing me, Smalls."
Okay, got it. I'm just blogging. I'm blogging at the beginning of the show.
Okay. Oh, you're blogging. Wow.
What is wrong with walking around with a selfie stick or being on the internet, blogging yourself while you're on the internet?
I don't know. I don't know.
At what point is this not redundant?
Yeah. Well, if you're live on your GoPro while you're live here, it might be a little redundant.
I'm actually going to do that. Because I was going to do something. I was trying to think of something to do with the GoPro because I saw it sitting there and went, I got to do this. This is one of those off the script moments, folks. All right.
Yes,
we'll work that in.
Script all the time.
We'll work that in because my phone's kind of low in charge and I go through the phone to go live to the internet. And anyway, so we ready to move on?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, folks, what we're doing tonight is we're going to bring it up. We're going to talk a little bit about bees in case you don't know what a bee is. God help you.
They're the things that behind his head, and they're going in their comb right now.
Yes, they are. So we're going to talk a little bit about bees, their place in the world, and just how important they are. And then we're going to bring out, actually, amongst all that, we're going to bring out the coolest guests we've had in a while. We've had people do corporate promotions, lots of artists. Everybody's awesome, but we've never had a bee guy.
Yes,
and that is. I mean, we were met with them a couple times this week. It is so dang interesting.
Yes.
We and Savannah have been actually working on getting this individual for quite a while, and he is cool.
Yes. We're very excited about it.
Okay, so our notes right here. We have intro to bees. Talk about it. You want to do that part?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why actually we found this guy, my husband helped find him. My mom, we found out that we had a beehive on our property, and instead of having them exterminated, we decided to look into having them moved. So we started looking into the process, and we found this guy, and he's actually in Escondido, which is kind of cool. So anyway, it's very important. A lot of people, I don't know, some people know about it, but it's very important that we save the bees, because bees right now are kind of getting close to being on the warning list of extinction, because all of the bees, they'll go from flowers and plants, and they'll pollinate the flowers and whatnot. And there's a lot of people and massive farming facilities that use lots of pesticides and whatnot, and it's been very harmful to the bees. And the thing is, if all the bees start to die, then life as we know it won't exist anymore, because we need them to pollinate the flowers. We need them to go around and do all those different things. There's a lot of things that they do for us. And so that's why it's really important to work on, if you have a beehive on your property, that you actually look into a bee removal service where they move the hive. So instead of just exterminating them.
Yeah.
So
aren't bees considered one of the not harbinger, but kind of like the canary in the coal mine on environmental health?
Could be. It could be. A lot of people probably feel that way about them, because it's kind of a big red flag that, hey, this animal, this insect that is majorly important to our survival is on the threat list. So scary stuff.
And plus, also, we don't want to really stick up bees in a coal mine.
Yeah, because I think they probably would get confused, and
they'll be in the dark.
Yes, exactly.
All right. We do have a cup. We do have actually one of our. Should we go ahead and bring out our scientific expert?
Yes, I think our scientists, and then we'll bring out our bee guy.
Absolutely. Okay, so folks, to talk a little about the science of bees and kind of put them in their proper scientific classification, we actually have on the staff for Late Night Craft Talk a science expert. Not only a science expert, a German scientist expert on bees. Yes. So
yes,
folks,
we actually were able to expand our budget a little bit and hire a German bee scientist.
Yes, because thank you, Dogecoin.
Yes, exactly.
It is all in be all. I made another bee pun. Okay, folks, we'd like to introduce to Late Night Craft Talk, Dr. Bevarious, German scientist.
Guten Tag. I am Dr. Bevarious, and I'm here to educate you upon the subject of the humble bee. Bees are insects with wings closely related to wasps and ants, known for their role in pollination and, in the case of the best-known bee species, the western honeybee, for producing honey. Bees are a monophyletic lineage within the subfamily of Botia. They are currently considered a clade called Anthrophilia. There are over 16,000 known bee species of bees in 7 recognized biological families. Bees are found on every continent except Antarctica. In every habitat on the planet that contains insect-pollinated flowering plants. Bees feed on nectar, pollen, and nuclear radiation. The pollen that the bees feed upon is primarily used as an energy source, and the latter primarily for protein and other nutrients. Most pollen is used as a food source for their larvae. Bees that feed on nuclear radiation, also known as irradiated bees, take on a morphological character resembling that of a bee soldier. The type of bee soldier that serves in the bee army and obey every command. Bee soldiers are developed by German scientists as foot soldiers in an evil organization too, like a hydra or a cobra, to face off against a nation's standing army and be defeated, so said German scientists can take over their world. You know what? I'm a German scientist. You know what that means? I'm that German scientist. Ha 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 ha! I hereby warn the leaders of the world to surrender your country to me, or you will be swarmed by my armies of irradiated soldier bees. What? What is that? What is... No! It's a bee! I'm allergic to bees! It stung me! I'm allergic to bee stings! Quick! Someone get me an EpiPen or nuclear radiation irradiated honeybee home influenza! I hate bees!
That guy, he's definitely a character, isn't he?
Yeah, Dr. Bevarius is not quite what we expected, but
yeah,
maybe we need to add another $1.50 to the budget.
I think we probably should have maybe checked it live or recorded it before instead of it being live, because then we wouldn't have had a really weird ending.
Yeah, well, let's just say every time we bring on a German scientist, it does not go well for us.
Yeah.
We can attract evil German scientists a lot.
Yes. Okay.
But
all
with
right.
that,
let's bring out our expert.
All right, let me go ahead and folks, let me introduce tonight, folks. This week's special guest is B-Man Dan. And I chose the wrong slide.
Yeah,
I'm having the hit or miss with StreamYard tonight.
Okay. Do you want to pick the right slide?
All right.
Pick the right slide.
Let me go to the right slide here. Let me get it. Okay, there we go. All right. Folks, tonight we bring on, and dang you better not jump screens on me, StreamYard. Okay, now we bring out tonight's guest, B-Man Dan.
Yay!
Hoorah!
Okay, all right.
Go ahead to stream. Hello, Dan.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to Late Night Craft Talk.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I like that German dude. He was wonderful.
Yeah.
Bevarius?
Dr. Bevarius.
Yes. Maybe we'll give him your phone number so you guys can compare notes in the future.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. I just
We're
figured
good.
I'd see that might be a good, you're on the same kind of industry kind of thing.
Nah. He's on a totally different level than I am. It's okay.
This way or this way?
No, this way. He's got better hair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that would you have an evil bee army if you could?
I don't know. I think Savea would for sure, for damn sure.
And
I like you already, Dan.
I would tell
This is
them,
going to be you and I against
you have to
Savea
go over to
tonight.
James's and go regulate.
Wow, this is going to be let's turn Savea red.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, Dan, tell us, how did you get started in this business?
You know what? They picked me, so they're kind of stuck with me. But about 15 years ago, did you know in Escondido it's illegal to have bees on property anywhere?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So bees moved to my shed about 15 years ago, and I had one of my kung fu buddies come out. He was just starting at the time, so he brought his mentor out, and they came in. They did the removal. I honestly don't remember much. I just remember big poofs of smoke. These two guys coming in with their space jackets, and then I'm like, "That's cool." So the very next week, what I did was I bought a veil and some gloves, and I went to go hang out with the guys, and they quit. And I just kept going with the bees, and it's been a 15-year fascination.
Wow, that is amazing.
Did you not know much about bees other than they pollinate and what you may catch on?
Zero. They're
Zero.
not on my radar whatsoever. Like, it's the last thing in the world I thought I'd be doing in my life.
Wow.
And it
That's
just went from there. I mean, how much have you learned about bees? I mean, are you able to name like the scientific name and all that stuff now, or?
Do I look like a scientist to you, man?
I thought I heard a little bit of a German accent.
It's called Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's easy to mix the two.
A little bit. Very, very. We're like this. No, I'm very uncouth in my bee. I guess my bee adventures. It's for me. It's always been about the experience of it. And I've read a lot of the books. I've watched videos and all fun stuff, but I kind of throw away the scientific jargon, and I'd rather focus on the experience of working with them, which is probably the most fascinating part, because that you can't read about that. You have to experience it. And just like Savea, what we're going to do when we do her removal is it's just a life-changing experience. So that's what I'm all about.
Yay.
All right. So you must have a lot of like personal experiences, like as far as identifying the queen, the workers, how the different castes react in the beehive.
Yeah, basically,
and you know how to do it inside of you. You probably have more hands-on than any science book or classroom can really teach on that one. You can probably just off the top of your head correct stuff that may be in a book.
Basically, humbly speaking, of course.
So, what's one of your most amazing situations you've had to deal with the bees?
I consider them all adventures because it's just really neat to be able to. It's really neat to be able to see a wild hive, because we've seen the bee boxes on the side of the freeway or at the farms and stuff like that. But they're literally putting a wild creature inside a box and then examining them. My favorite part to all the removals is that experience of seeing them, how they do things without human intervention, totally unadulterated, and then being a butthole who has to mess it all up.
Oh.
Well, you definitely know what the bees are thinking of you.
Yeah, I definitely know. They love me, of course.
Yeah, that's really cool though, because like when like what we were experiencing at my mom's house after like we saw the beehive, I was like, wow, I wonder how they, how bees are moved to a new hive and moved and there's a lot of information out there to watch videos and stuff, but it's so cool. It's so fascinating for me to watch that information. And I can't imagine doing that every day. So I think that's really cool. It's a very neat job that you do. So generally, how many bees would you say, like in an average hive? Would you have an idea of like how, like, to explain how hives work or how they look or what they're like?
Magic. That's all I got for you. Magic. Yeah. It depends on this. Honestly, it depends on this, how strong the colony is going in, and then how much space they've taken up and how old they are. So the longer hive, like yours, is going to be massive. Just massive.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just
it's been there for over a year. It's probably been there for maybe over 1 to 2 years.
Yeah. I look forward to being able to share that with your.
Yeah.
But essentially, the average swarm, like people have seen the basketball or the football or the volleyball shaped stuff that's hanging on trees or bushes or people's homes, and that's roughly like 20,000 bees. So if you can imagine a volleyball, that's about 20,000. Football. Well, wait, I can do my hands, but football is probably somewhere around 10 to 15,000, and then your basketball size is like 30,000 bees.
Wow,
which is just a lot. just a buttload of bees.
Yeah,
That's
so that we have a lot of bees at our place then. It's a lot of bees. Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I
think
just
my bad.
no, go ahead, James. All you.
Well, you're the guest on the show. It shouldn't be all
Nah,
me because I
you're
just
the
get to
host,
see it
man.
real quick.
Nope.
So I know that when bees swarm, when they finally choose a place, the queen or whatever, they end up going in a different place. I know that you can start getting the beginnings of the honeycomb and the structure within I think 12 or 24 hours. You start getting a
Yeah.
measurable amount of activity. So I mean, they build really quick. I've had to deal with a couple swarms back in the ag days with farms and whatnot. And I mean, what is the physically biggest hive you've seen?
The biggest one, the single one I've seen was probably as tall as I was. Like 7 feet tall, obviously. Just kidding. I'm about
Standing
5.
on a chair or a ladder?
Yes, both. Chair on the ladder.
Okay.
Wow.
No, I'm about 5'3", but this hive was as tall as I was, and I couldn't get my arms around it to hug it. Not that I'm
Wow.
going there to hug a beehive, but it's just massive, just big, just there's no good words besides just humongous.
Wow.
It was in a tree too, which makes it all that much more pleasant to work with.
Wow.
Is it common to find them in the tree? Because honestly, I mean, I think I've only seen a beehive in a tree a handful of times. Most of the time it's like, next to garage or in some kind of like an eave of a building.
Yep.
I've seen them under a car hood. What is some of the more unusual places you've seen beehives?
Let's see, the under a rug. So a rug like haphazardly onto like someone's couch, and they built right underneath that thing. I've seen them in igloos, like your coolers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tires, like just a tire on its side, and they'll build right inside of there. Weirdy, sketchy, lots of sketchy. Well, that's kind of our forte is sketchy projects, but that's why the trees. But to answer your question about the bees and trees, it's pretty rare, but we're in Southern California, so we don't really have a winter, so it's fine for bees to park themselves just about anywhere and still survive. Versus up north where it snows, that's just not going to happen.
So is that where they typically are going to build a hive over there just to keep warm where they're close together?
Yeah, it's just easier to stay enclosed. It's kind of like us car camping, either car camp or sleeping under stars. But if you're going to sleep under stars, then it's better not be freezing either, or have a really, really good sleeping bag or raccoon.
So
Did you say raccoon?
I did.
Dude, no. I had a thing with the trash pandas a few weeks ago.
Nice.
They ripped up a kid's backpack and stuff to get into a kayak over the
Oh,
Colorado River trip.
Nice.
The lovely trash pandas. Look at the pretty raccoon. I'm going, dumpster diver.
That's
funny.
Anyway,
so we have a question from our audience, which I think is kind of an interesting question.
Yes.
So she said, I purchased a little wooden bee house from Home Depot. What are your thoughts on those and suggestions or tips for how to properly use them?
Are those, Caroline, I think you're referring to the mason bee jars or the mason bee or carpenter bees. I have one back there somewhere. Hold on. Let me grab it real quick. But Trinity, can you grab that? Those from Home Depot are fine. In San Diego, what I found over the years is you have to go online to like Amazon and then buy the mason bee larva carcasses or the bait, like these things. But you have to get the little larva and insert them in there, and then this way you can propagate it. And once it has the scent of either the carpenter or mason bee, then they'll keep coming back to it year after year.
That is very cool. Okay, so yeah, she said that's the kind that she has. Yeah, so because I know, so she's in Fallbrook, so Escondido, really, that's interesting. So you can have a hive in Escondido. Bummer.
We have a lot of rogue clients. Essentially, hopefully no one works for code enforcement, but basically, so long as your neighbors don't complain and you sweeten the deal, give them chicken eggs or flirt with them a lot. Or if they don't like that, then stop flirting with them. But basically, if you make sure you're on good terms with them, you can definitely keep a hive on the property. The only time code enforcement gets involved is either you register your hive or someone complains that happened. Oh, so my story, the bees in my shed, the only reason why I had to get them out was because some person 7 houses away, their dog got stung.
Oh.
And I was blamed for it because they knew I had a hive in my shed, and that's how that went down. So it was $2,000 fine, jail time, or get the bees out. So
wow, that's crazy.
Those guys are hardcore.
Yeah, well, bees. I mean, the thing is, I mean, if not taken care of in a proper way, they can be dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So I could get it. You know, you want to make sure the people that have them are taking care of them properly.
Right.
Right. Wow, I know, because what's interesting, one of my dogs got stung by a bee several times, and different bees, obviously. And over the course of time, he had been stung so many times just from walking on the grass. He actually developed a very, very sensitive allergy to bee stings. And if I did see him get stung by a bee, or if he had been stung by a bee, I would have to take him to the dog emergency because he could potentially have asphyxiation.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need a dog EpiPen.
Yeah, because I mean, they pretty much did that for him. Like when I brought him over, his face swole up so big. Like there's a lot of videos and photos you can find on YouTube and internet about dogs that got stung on the face, and it's crazy because those dogs, their faces look like cartoon dogs. And when Bambi, it was Bambi that got stung. When Bambi, it brought him in after bringing him out. It was the evening when he got stung too. It was weird. So I brought him out to the bathroom in the evening. It was a warm summer night. Brought him inside. Went to the bathroom, took a shower, and I looked at him, and he looked like a totally different dog. Like I didn't even recognize him. His face was so swollen. And I mean, he was a Chihuahua, and his face was at least 4 times larger than it should have been. And so I was like, oh my gosh, because it was like his whole face was so huge. I brought him over, and they gave him a shot. His face started immediately going down, but they're like, you cannot have your dog get stung by a bee another time, because it's like, I mean, how would I even know, right? But it's crazy. So anyway, that's kind of another story, side topic. But yeah.
Well, dog animals are going to have, like, dogs. They're going to have the ones that are able to deal with it better than others, just like people. I've had to deal with folks that maybe a bee sting, and they're looking like the Michelin Man, or Stay Puft Marshmallow, and they swell up so quickly. I'm sure, Dan, you've got your stories on that one, and I think we can eventually get to that, because eventually we're going to get to the word killer bees eventually under this one to explain that, because there's a lot of confusion with that one.
Right. So when I first began, I used to get stung all the time just being careless, and I remember I'd come home with like Popeye arms, where one arm would just be massive and the other one dinky.
Dang! Wow. All right. With this now, you do ethical bee relocation of the hive. What's that like, and where you usually take them? Do you usually take them out to like farms out near Ramona in East San Diego County, or what?
You got it. Yep. So our operation, my sister calls it BHAB, but basically once we do the rescue, they come back to one of our farms. You guys know, everyone knows the farm stand in Escondido, right?
Yes.
Not some of our viewers, because we have viewers from across the country.
Ah, got it.
Watch the show, so not them. They think San Diego or San Diego
Yep.
County. They're going to think all beach.
Yes.
And a zoo.
Yes. All beach, all day, every day.
For folks that don't know, Eastern San Diego County is actually a lot of rural farms, ranches. It's kind of cowboy country in a fair amount of places.
And Escondido actually has been primarily known in the past as being a farming town, where there's been a lot of oranges, avocados, a lot of different, crops and farms in this area. So farm stands, there was a couple farm stands that don't exist anymore, but the farm stand that he's talking about is over off of Felicita and the 15 in Citricato, right over in that area. Yeah,
they're like the one of the last farms that are still left in Escondido. Years ago, probably I think in the 60s, what happened was the rich people started moving to Escondido, and they didn't want to be around bees. They didn't want to be around farms, so they banned all that agriculture to Valley Center.
You gotta love that. It's like the people that moved next to an airport and then complain about the noise of airplanes.
Right. What were you thinking?
I know, right? Oh my gosh. So
With that
have you?
stuff-
Oh, I'm gonna say, have you ever experienced working with Africanized honeybees, or like what is that? Do you know what that is?
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You like this guy.
So to answer James' question real quick, so they go back to one of our beehives, and then from there we find backyard beekeepers or other farmers to take them in. Well, right now we have a waiting list of like 30 to 40 people looking to adopt them. So basically, once we get them established, then someone's ready to take them. I have I think 3 people stopping by tomorrow just to pick up the ones I have in the office in the backyard.
So you have a
and
bee
then-
adoption agency.
Basically, it's a lot of mouths to feed, though, James. It's ridiculous. I have a
You
couple million
use
ladies.
nuclear radiation at
Oh
all?
my god! So yeah, killer bees.
Yes.
Over quick
I'm
there,
sorry.
dude.
So I was.
Great
Yeah,
question.
I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Okay. Yes.
So so the lowdown is almost all the bees in are banned in Southern California, Texas, Louisiana. This whole warm band, they're all mixed with Africanized genetics. But in San Diego, in San Diego, we have a lot of agriculture. So you have beekeepers bringing their bees from Bakersfield for the almonds, and then they drag them through Valley Center and Fallbrook for avocado and citrus pollination, and then from there they cruise down to El Centro for alfalfa and clover pollination. So a buttload of beekeepers, buttload of commercial bees, which back in the day were very commercialized, very controlled genetics. And then we had this killer bee scare coming up from the south, from through Mexico, and they crossbred with all of our docile bee genetics, and so they're all mixed. So
Wow.
when someone says that the killer bees are everywhere, that's true, but not to the capacity that people think, where they're not going to go out and kill everybody. But you just have pockets of not so happy bees, but the vast majority of them are super, super friendly.
Mhm.
I think I mentioned to you that I've done over 4,000 live removals, and I've
No,
probably
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Wow.
but the number of bees that are killer, like just unsafe to work with, and it's not necessarily us. It's that when you start to work with them and they start harassing people around you. The worst one I did was a roof up in Chino Hills, and as soon as we opened the hive up, the mailman got stung like 2 blocks away.
Wow.
And then they just start chasing people all around. So that's where it gets really challenging. But there's ways to work with that. It just requires a lot more, a slower pace. But that's very rare. I think in the 4,000 colonies I've personally seen, maybe 10 of them were really unruly. In which case it's just really hard to work with. That's where we do like nighttime removals where they don't fly and they don't hurt other people. They just sting the crap out of us, but totally different story. But it's really, really small percentage.
Do you find over time, because I know that there was a lot more, knowing a lot of farmers, there was a big problem starting in the late 90s up to the mid 2000s with bees. I know like one farmer, his alfalfa field outside of Blythe, that there was a ground colony of bees and they got disturbed, and these suckers were going at it for 2 days. And there was a police officer that responded that didn't even get out of his car. He's like, dude, this is death.
Right.
And they were so aggressive. But one observation is that there hasn't been as many problems originally as the hybridized bees as they worked their way north and came into Southern California, the Southwest, that seems that aggressiveness is being slowly toned down through the generations of bees. Are you finding that also?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started 15 years ago, I would take when I was just learning about bees, you're excited. And so anytime someone called me for some sort of bee thing, I'm like, yeah, I'll be all over it. I remember there was a farm up in Fallbrook, and that's like we're super North San Diego. And the farmer was wanting a beekeeper to come out to take care of his bees. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. As soon as I got out of the truck, I parked like 30 feet away. As soon as I got out of the truck, I got hammered. They went right after me. And that was probably one of my first days beekeeping on my own. but I haven't really seen that as hasn't been as prevalent the last couple of years, and it's definitely tapered off like you suggested, James. But I think
Okay.
it's because most of that cross pollination or cross breeding.
Well, as we talk about like bees where they're going to swarm, where they sting you, people, the first thing they think of bees is one, honey, and then two, oh, bee sting, and they think that the bees are going to go around them. What do you find generally as the bee's temperament as you work with them?
So when we are working with them, the best part to what we do is we're technically stressing the bees out on purpose, right? We're moving them. We're literally ripping the house apart, so we get a really good gauge of like their actual temperament and how pissed off they can really be. And generally speaking, the percentage wise, 70% of them are what we call a 7 and up. So not 7 up, but basically we rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being freaking awesome, 1 being a death. So the vast majority of them are 7 and above, where they're really docile, they're really friendly. They might have a little bit of an edge to them, but like humans, don't we all?
Yeah.
So the vast majority of them are in that range. So it's not as angry as you would think.
Okay. So what's your process? So when you are going to show up on site, how do you start and how do you finish? Just like
it's always
okay, so that maybe isn't a good answer. A question. What I'm saying is, like, if it was a perfect day and it was a perfect everything, like there's no like crazy things coming at you at other angles, you know, you just have a perfect bee removal situation. So what is that? What does that look like?
If I can get a little hokey, when I'm working with the bees, it's just, and everyone here is familiar with working with animals, right? You have a dog. James, you have pets?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a turtle, even like a huge turtle in his backyard.
Or it's actually a tortoise, but yes, I have a few.
Whoops, hold on. So the idea is once you start working with them, there's a certain familiarity, right? So it's kind of hokey, but when I'm working with bees, the very first thing I'm doing is I'm introducing myself just in my head, and then just letting them know what's going on. I'm about to rip open your house, and hopefully just the same team. We're on the same team. Essentially,
I know what's going on. Why are you going to rip up my house?
I know.
Hey,
Okay,
James,
I get it.
Your camera disappeared. Do you know that?
I'm having to check a couple of things because we actually have another guest on the show tonight briefly.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just kidding. I'm going over to talk to him in the green room.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So essentially, I'm just letting them know it's just out of respect that, hey, we're going to be moving you. If we don't move you, then someone else is going to come and kill you. The chance of that happening is pretty high. So that kind of sets the tone for the whole experience. And that's why I think the bees have a pretty good response to when I'm working with them or when our teams are working with them, because they know that it's going to be a safe process for the most part. Aside from, accidentally dropping the hive. But from there, then we just have to figure out how they're getting in, and then we're using smoke to calm them down a little bit. The bees, like, we use words when we speak, obviously, but the bees communicate by pheromones, by smell. So if you can mask their ability to communicate that stranger danger, or what they call the attack pheromone, then they generally have a more mild disposition. And then from there, it sounds horrible, but I kidnap their babies. I'm a horrible human being, but instead of trying to find the queen, I kidnap the babies, because if I can move the babies, the bees will be incentivized to follow the babies, and the queen eventually follows the bees, if that kind of makes sense. And that works methodically every single time. And then from there, just waiting for them to get corralled into the temporary box that we're moving them, and that's about it. And then after that, depends on the level of service the client wants. We're basically cleaning out the pheromones, making sure that we can minimize the chance of a recurrence, and then sealing whatever we can up.
Gotcha. We have a guest we're going to bring on. We have a sponsor, and I'm having to turn off the camera just so I can get over here, and I'm actually carrying the camera with me to the green room. We have a sponsor named Quarantinos for the show. It's our real fake sponsor. And sorry to do that while you're drinking, dude. I didn't mean to make you gag. But their spokesman is a gentleman named Earl, and Earl lives over. He'll explain when you see him. But I'm bringing Earl, and he actually has some beekeeping experience and removal. But he lives on a farm. He lives on a ranch, And so if you think it's time to bring out Earl, we can talk about ways that he removes, and Dan can compare notes and tell us maybe what's wrong with Earl's bee removal.
Okay, yeah. I think that would be a good suggestion. Dan,
Okay,
Earl
let me bring in Earl.
Okay, Earl's
Hi
very
there.
professional. Earl is very professional. And Earl, this is B-Man Dan.
Hi, I'm the spokesman for Quarantinos.
Yes.
And Quarantinos products. But before that, I removed bees as a bee removal guy from Quarantinos called No Bees Please.
Okay, so hey, Earl, do you have any tips for B-Man Dan that you'd like to share? Or
Well, I'd like to see what B-Man Dan has to say about this in my days of working with No Bees Please. This is what we do out here when I was doing beekeeping for Quarantinos out here in Now Here, Oklahoma, population 1.
Okay.
Now Here, Oklahoma. Good, he's got it. All right. So I wanted to share some of the methods we do here that we consider ethical and like nice to the bees here in Now Here, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So let me click the right button. James, give me the right buttons here as I pretend to talk to James. Here we go. The first one we do with No Bees Please is we use gasoline.
Okay.
And is gasoline considered ethical for bee removal by you Californians?
Kerosene is not
Really?
gasoline. Yeah.
Because we just take gasoline and flick a match and watch the bee works.
You're so unclassy. You gotta do that with the cigar.
They don't pay that much.
Cigarette then, at least.
And you can't find them from the local Piggly Wiggly or the Dollar General.
Okay. All right. What's your next nugget of information?
Our next one that we do is, and I'm really interested in kerosene. I see that works, but the next one is going to be, come on, thingy worked. All right, here we go. The next would be dynamite. It's a little more fun than gasoline, but doesn't last as long. Is that considered an ethical removal for a beehive?
Rookies, man, you gotta use C4.
Hey, is that
up the game and gave me new goals?
Earl, you guys are rookies over there, man.
It's it's a booming good time. Population 1. The next one we use is a chainsaw because we want to scare the bees and go after them with a chainsaw. It's proven less effective than dynamite or gasoline, but we still try, or at least for bee removal, I can see where it is applicable.
Interesting.
You can saw
it is the better method is to right. Yes. Well, the better method is just to run around naked.
Oh, that would definitely scare them away, Earl.
Well, it depends on how much I've had. Well, let's just say the inebriation sauce to make Earl certain sheets against the wind. That's how much he brings out a combination of the gasoline, the dynamite, and a chainsaw. That's why I'm on probation.
Okay.
Right. You got to do it naked next time.
Yes. Well, here's our other method. We have a couple is a Tesla coil. So basically electricity and lightning to shock the bees.
If you can't do it with the AAA battery, you're no good at what you're doing.
With the what battery?
If you can't do it with a AAA battery, you heard me. If you can't do it with a AAA battery, then a Tesla is not going to do it.
Well, that's why we hook it up to the giant power lines and make that and point the Tesla coil at the beehive. And let's just say that it's a lot more sparking than the gasoline or the dynamite.
Yes.
But my inebriation sauce is not taking me to take that. Usually bring in a German scientist and then things don't go well for the mayor of the town.
Right. At least we'll
we have one more method.
Yep, let's do it.
United States Marine Corps.
Okay.
For bee removal.
You just call up the Marine Corps. You're like, hey, Marine Corps, we need some bees to be removed, and they'll do it for you?
They've constantly told me no, but would they be effective at bee removal? Or is that overkill?
It might be a little bit overkill. I prefer the Navy, honestly, but whatever.
Well, yeah, because the Marine Corps is the Department of the Navy. I'm about to get my butt chewed out by somebody named Wendy Hodge when I get done with this character. Last one here, because she's with the Marines. Hoorah. With this one, I bring out the last option. Giant artillery.
Wow.
Yes. You win, Earl.
Okay.
Is that an ethical bee removal right there?
Absolutely. If you're the one in the cannon.
I don't want to be in the cannon.
No,
Earl,
yeah. All of these things. I mean, are you really trying to save the bees? Because, I mean, it doesn't feel like you're trying to save the bees.
Who said anything about saving the bees? I just got carried away in the moment.
Okay, Earl.
Which I guess is considered unethical in today's standards now that we are a progressive species.
Yes. Okay. Hey, Earl,
Yep.
do you want to put James back on?
I will go get him. He's waiting off to the side here impatiently going, dude, what are you doing, you redneck hick?
That's exactly what I was thinking, but he said it, not me.
Well, I am self-aware. I'm going to go back to selling bean pots and other commercials for Quarantinos.
Okay. Bye, Earl.
Whoop, wrong button. All right.
We'll
Here
miss
it
you.
is. Bye, everybody.
So what do you think of Earl, Dan?
He's gonna be my future BFF.
Earl likes you too.
I'll make sure to give him your cell phone number so he can call you all the time.
Fantastic. FaceTime
Yes.
24/7.
Yes, I'll make sure to tell him 24/7.
That's going to be the definition of yeah. Thanks, no thanks.
Yay. So this is really fun. Oh my goodness.
We want to do a long silence. Okay. Have you walked us through your day so far? And
My day?
like you did, you get a call.
Yep.
You rush out there in like a station wagon, like say Ghostbusters with a light going, and you have a proton pack, or what's your tools?
Tesla coil, man. We just covered that, James.
That was between you and Earl. I was in the other room just
my bad.
getting
I
root
see.
beer. Or Dr. Pepper.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I don't have my here. Look at here. This is my I don't know if it'll show up. I have my
We don't do paid product placements here, or even beg for that kind of doing
I even have Skippy, Honey Skippy.
Nice.
Or Camelback. And I don't know why, but Cortana just recognized thinking I asked something. I got to turn off Cortana.
Animal Crossing container.
Okay. With the Dr. Pepper.
Yes. Okay.
You guys left out some of the more business logos, I guess. Okay.
Yes.
Wow, it's already. Damn, this hour's gone quick.
Yeah, right. It's already been an hour. So, okay. Do you have any questions from the audience, you guys? If you have any questions, make sure that you put your questions in the chat here on the side so that we can ask Dan. He is the expert. So definitely we want to have any questions. If you have anything you want to specifically ask, you got someone right here. So yeah, let's see here.
Oh, James,
go ahead.
Was that a serious question or a not serious question?
From Sabea?
No, from you, James.
About,
my average day.
Yeah. I mean, just walk through. What's some of your tools you have on a day that you go out there and work with the bees?
So my truck, I need a bigger truck. I did definitely undersize it, but basically we remove bees from like anything, roofs, walls, sheds. I think today was a tree. What's up?
So you have like hammers, nails, stuff like that. You use the smoke gun.
Smoke gun. Yes, we call it smoker, but you can call it whatever you want to. You're an Earl. Smoker.
We're separate people, sir. Please. We do not look anything alike. He has a mustache.
My bad. And the hat.
Truck driver.
Totally different hat.
He's female.
Oh, yes. This is what I get to work with every week, Dan.
Nice.
Every week.
I'm sorry.
And I say that about Savannah.
Obviously.
Just for my own safety, right quick, just because I know her, Wendy Haas says Marines are great at removing anything.
He needed to
agree.
say that.
Work with a
Make-
lot of Marines. I got to get that out there.
Wendy
Okay.
happy.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Dan, in your opinion, why is it important to do bee removal versus exterminating?
The short answer is because we need them to eat, not eat the bees, but basically without them, we don't have pollination for the foods that we have. I know. Most of the reports say it's 1/3 that relies on direct pollination. It's actually closer to like 2/3 because you're not accounting for what people eat meat wise, because we need the bees for alfalfa and clover pollination, because without that we don't have livestock feed. So basically, if we don't have the bees, you're not going to eat anything unless you're going to eat fish or kelp for the rest of your life, and that's only going to last so long too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in my opinion, that's like the number one thing. Number two, the second part, I think James, you hinted on earlier, was they're that gateway between the wild kingdom and then our human kingdom, and whatever we muck up with them, there's a huge repercussion that's happening on the back end that no one ever realizes. All the native pollinators, all the little critters that we don't even realize that's in our backyard. We have like over 10,000 different wasp and bees just in California alone, and those things get wiped out all the time. We just don't even realize it because they're not important to us, but the bees are right there in our face. But most things are out of sight, out of mind, right? People, when people are going to shop for food, they're not thinking about what actually happened to get that food on the table. So when we use sprays, when we use chemicals, when someone says, hey, just get the bees exterminated, they're not the ones pulling the trigger. And if they're not the ones pulling the trigger, then don't ask someone else to do so. Don't pay someone else for something you're not willing to do. So that's kind of my take on. I started homesteading and farmsteading, so I grew my own chickens, I grew my own rabbits for meat, and it's a different. It changes you once you're the one who has to literally pull the trigger on consuming the food that you have. And the same thing with trying to kill another creature, another animal. It's easy to have some pest control guy do it, but if you're the one doing it, I bet you 99% of the time people aren't willing to do it, but they're so removed from it. But that's kind of my personal take on it.
Nailed it, dude. You nailed it.
So Caroline has a question. She says, do you have an assistant? Do you do this all by yourself, or do you have an assistant?
No, I actually have a team to do what we do. There's no way I can do this by myself. But always looking for more help, though. We have assistant wranglers and we have assistant beekeepers, and then eventually we have move up into different levels of wrangling and beekeeping. So always looking for good help, good solid people.
So if you if anyone is interested, they could just contact their local, like, so say if someone's not nearby and they really are interested in helping with bees and relocating them, it's something that they could contact, and usually people will be really receptive to, people wanting to help.
Yeah, most beekeeping associations throughout the country. I work with the San Diego Beekeeping Association and the Orange County Beekeeping Association, as well as code enforcement. But basically, whenever they come across issues, we're usually top of the list for the sketchy projects. On Orange County, basically, anytime a project comes up that people don't want to touch, they refer to us. But each association has most of the associations will have a list of people that will do live removal, paid for or unpaid for, and that's probably the best thing to do. Number one, whenever someone comes across a beehive that moved into their house or whatever.
Would now be an appropriate time for bring up your website?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have here beemandan.com, and it just shows, of course, your contact information, beekeeping services, about starter colonies. What's that?
So that's part of people who want to adopt the colonies that we have. We have different levels of services. Essentially, we have people who are just looking at just wanting to rescue, and then we're full service, just like our removal, just like our bee removal. But basically, we have clients who want bees on property. They love supporting that idea of saving the bees, but want nothing to do with the work of it. So they'll hire someone like my sister, and she'll come out, she'll set up hives, and she'll maintain them on a regular basis, just like a gardening service. And then she'll make sure they're healthy, they're happy. And then at some point, usually twice per year, we'll do mini harvests, and they get the honey for being a good steward of nature. And then we have other clients who want to learn about bees and have no idea how to get started. So they hire us to come out, help them mentor, help them get set up. And this way we can help watch out for issues that they may come across and nip it before it becomes an issue, just because we've been doing this for a little while now.
Gotcha. Just scrolling through your website so people can see a little bit. It says right here, host a beehive, starter colonies, beekeeping services, with the drop down with the mentoring that you mentioned, hive maintenance, and even with the removal services on there. So all things for the safeguarding of the bees. Basically.
Yeah, basically that's right. Everything bee related. And we have another. Yep, and we have another website, We Save Bees, as well. And then we just started a foundation as well.
Okay, so Carolyn has another question. What's the cost to set up a beehive, and just like kind of in a ballpark? So say someone does want to have a beehive on their property, like what can they look at, financially, what cost?
That's a great question. So I will say it's going to run, like, to start with all the gear that you need, roughly $750. So you're talking about bee boxes, the frames, the smoker, the suits, the tools that are required. And then it depends on how handy a person is. You can shave off some money by building certain things yourself. But the one thing I do not recommend is don't try to build the box itself if it's your first hive. Get something that's tried and true and simple. This way you don't have to worry. You're limiting a whole variable of trial and error. So keep that simple. You can always find stuff on Craigslist or eBay for people just trying to offload their equipment super cheap. So if you're really frugal about it, you can get away with it for like $200-$300 for everything, because there's a bunch of people on that wave of like farmsteading, homesteading. They got interested, and then they're like, I don't want to do this anymore, and they'll just offload their gear. But otherwise, $750 is a really good safe expectation.
That's up there, but not out of the realm of possibility or doability, really, on that one.
So, like, if you have it set up, you said that for someone to come and maintain the beehive or learn how to maintain a beehive, like, what does maintaining a beehive require? Or what kind of process is that?
That's a great question. So ironically, I've seen 2, 3, 10-year-old hives, and they do just fine without human intervention. So over the years, and now the code enforcement, I hope no one's on code enforcement, they'll yell at me for saying this, but some hives just don't need to be maintained. Just like yours, Savea, the ones inside the box, they've been doing just fine without needing us for the last year. The only thing is, with humans working with them, I don't like the word beekeeping because it's not accurate. It's stewardship, because the bees don't need us. They do just fine without us. It's just that if we want to partake in sharing their resources, then it's our job to create a space for them that's conducive to their success. We're just we're just doing things that make their life a little bit easier in exchange for a safe space for them to be in. That's it. That's as far as I'm concerned. But it's really good to be able to check on them at least once a month for those who are inclined, and that's where you can just catch problems before they occur. Again, not that they really need it, but it's just, if you want the honey production, then there's things that you have to do to help maintain that. It's just like chickens, right? You can technically free roam your chickens in the backyard, and they'll eat bugs, they'll eat grass, they'll be just fine. But you may or may not get optimal egg production, or you are going to get coyotes or hawks that are going to fly down and eat them.
So I've always wondered this: how long do queen bees live?
Up to, on average, she's really productive for 3 to 5 years, and I've had queens live up to 5 to 7 years.
No kidding.
3 to 5 is like her premium age. Most of the commercial beekeepers working with them, they usually go through a 2-year cycle, so 2 or 3 year max Once she hits 3 years, then she's retirement age, and they usually will replace her. I generally let mine just go through the whole cycle and let them retire on their own accord.
Mm-hmm. And then, so I mean, obviously, when they have the baby bees, because the honeycomb is like it's actually like the what's it, like a
Nursery.
place for baby bees to be, right? So they obviously have male and female bees, right?
Yes.
So the female bees, eventually there'll be a queen, right? I mean, I don't understand this. That's what I was asking you. Do you know?
No, good question. So in the bee hierarchy, you have one queen, and then the rest of them are technically princesses. The vast majority of a hive that you will ever come across is almost all female. That's why I work with bees, because they're female. The boys, there's only a couple boys every couple months, and otherwise, when their use is done, which is all they're good for is mating. Once they're done, they get kicked out of the hive, and then it's all female again. Amazon style. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So the hives, when you're working with the honeycomb, is used for the babies. It's used for pollen. It's used for honey or nectar, and they just cycle through whatever they need. Once we do your removal, we'll have all sorts of visuals to share with your family.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. So Dan's going to be coming to our place in the next week or so, and he's going to be helping us remove in. My mom and I are going to help out. We're so excited. Oh my goodness, we're so excited about that. And what is going to be cool is we're going to take a lot of video and photos, and we're going to have that information for you guys in an up-and-coming show, so you guys can actually see and be involved in that, and it's going to be pretty neat. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's 11.
And then guess what? It's already an hour. This was an hour already. Can you believe it?
And I look at the clock. It's like, oh, we still got 30 minutes, and I know what's going to happen. I look at the clock a couple seconds later, and it's 20 minutes has passed.
Yeah,
freaking
It goes quick.
yeah.
Well, I had a group of jokes I was going to line up and see you get your rating on, but we're already at 11. Unless we want to do a couple minutes overtime.
You're the boss, man.
It's Sevilla. It's up to Sevilla.
Yeah.
So
I looked away.
How many minutes do you have of jokes?
Up to 5.
Okay, do 5. Okay, go for it.
I'll make her quick. All right, Dan. So we're gonna have you quickly rate these jokes, because you probably kind of like when I taught nap arrowheads, which is chipping arrowheads. I say napping. Sevilla does this, and I go, "Good boy!" Like I haven't heard that a million times. You've heard these too, but let's get your rating. You an expert on these bee jokes, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, let's make it real quick. Scale of 1 to 5. I don't know why it's doing the strobe light right now.
7.
Let's just remove that and try showing a share again. Stop screen. Okay. Sometimes these lovely technical difficulties. Let's try it again. All right. What kind of bees live in graveyards? Zombies. Your vote?
It never gets old, but I'd say a solid 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Okay. What is a bee's favorite dance music? Bebop.
7.
7.
Yes. Tough crowd.
What's a bee's favorite Spice Girls song? Wannabe.
7.
All right. When do bees get married? When they've found their honey.
That's so cheesy.
Are these new to you?
Some of them. No, this one is.
Okay.
Still give me a 7.
What do you call a bee that works for the government? A politician.
That's awesome. 8.
8. All right. What is small, black and yellow, and drops things? A fumblebee.
Oh my god. That's a good 8.
Right. What's a bee's favorite novel? The Great Gatsby.
Oh my god. 7.
And isn't that a killer hornet?
That's okay.
It's a nasty looking.
Don't ruin the joke, Savea. Jesus.
Yeah, Savea, you party pooper. Yeah, I like you. What is a bumblebee's blood type? B positive.
That's my type of joke. That's a solid 10.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. What do you call a bee that lives in America? A USB.
Oh my God. 7.
7. What did the bee go? Why did the bee go to the doctor? He has hives.
Oh my God. 5.
Beekeepers have the prettiest eyes because beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
One of our guys actually did a video on that. That's a solid 10 material right there.
All
He
right.
was literally holding bees.
Okay. A bee that will not stop eating will eventually become a chub bee.
Oh my God. 9. That's
9.
a good 9.
Okay. I think that's about it. Yep, that is the last one. So
That is fun. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So can you believe it? Another show. This has been really great. We have a lot of people that are very happy that you came on. Caroline, of course, said, thank you for sharing your expertise. Wendy said, thank you for being such a good bee steward. Dan, let's see. I have, it went up here. I have to get to it. It's all the way up here. And
okay.
we're getting a lot of feedback for you, Dan.
She's saying hands-on experience is good. She loves that. And then Maya says, save the bees, please.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
With
there's
Earl.
like different comments. I know Earl. You should talk to Earl, James.
I
And
will
then
do that.
This is from another one of our viewers. Thank you for an amazing show. So informative. They loved it. And then, oh, this is fun. B-Man Dan, good talk.
That's my favorite line right there. Good talk. I use that all the time.
Yeah. So
We do have a comment right there that says there needs to be a part 2. Yes, folks, there actually is going to be a part 2 where Savannah talked about with the bee removal.
yeah, so we're going to get video footage and photos and all kinds of really cool stuff to share. But we will not have that information until a future episode. And so we will hopefully get it up sooner than later.
No pressure.
Yes,
Gotcha.
and no pressure, no pressure. So, yeah, so this is the end of the show. And this is where, Dan, you don't know this, but we always like to dance out the end of our show.
With the dancing bear?
No, all of us are dancing, not Dancing Bear.
Just think Batman. Just think 1960s Batman with the kind of dance thing with the closing credits.
So
It's voluntary.
he just kind of he has no idea this is how the show ends. So
Well, he's kind of looking at the look on his face like, I don't think so.
Okay, well, feel free to join if you want to. Okay, ready, James?
Okay. Otherwise, he's going to be too cool being the cool kid on next to the wall at the school dance going, nah.
Basically, my sister called me a swaying log.
Gotcha. Well, we know you won't be at the dance.
No.
Be
this guy.
I can keep my day job. All right, folks.
Yes.
This has been another episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Any parting words, Dan, for us, or be community?
Be well.
Be well.
Be happy.
Of course, guys, if you want any more information, do go contact Dan. He's a really great wealth of information. And if you're local, he does really great bee removal service. And Dan, just so you know, at the end, when we say goodbye, folks, don't clock off yet.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
James.
Folks, this has been another episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Cue tap dance. What the hell? Aw, ain't he cute? Good night.